Hello, my friends. How are you? Welcome back to the Glow Up Method. My name is Natasha, and I am so excited to be here with you today, even though this piece of hair just keeps wanting to pop in my mouth. Hi, how are you today? Oh my gosh, I have all these band-aids that are looking super ratchety, so apologies if that's like a gross distraction here. So today was one of those days, again, that I had so many examples and so many opportunities to really hone in. Like, honestly, for so long in my life, I didn't know I had this power to create and cultivate and imagine a life the way I want living. Like, I thought there were so many external forces, so many things I had to do that conflicted with what I wanted to do or what felt right. And I didn't even really pursue them. I just didn't think it was an option. And so I am now really practicing. And again, like I say, it is a practice. Like, today is Monday, and I know I've said that I'm not going to do these things, but it's a great reminder. It's like a motivation Monday. It's a mindfulness Monday. Like, here are the thoughts. So, like, I get up, I do my whole mindful routine. I'm starting to realize I'm adding so much more to my mindfulness routine. I'm like, I almost need like an hour and a half or now 2 hours to get my morning routine done, which before used to have no routine. It was just, what was ever happening. The chaos was the routine. Get up, hurry up, get the kids lunches, get them to school, like have all these things and start off like fresh like that. And some days I had time to get in the shower first. Sometimes I didn't because there was somebody else in there. Like, it was a chaos, and it was a very reactionary way of life, where now I'm proactively planning and responding and creating this life for me. And it's different, but yet it's the same, right? So, like I say, I make my bed, I do my daily dose of dysregulation. I mean, these things I'm talking to you about, I've only been doing for the last, some things like my bed, it's been maybe 2 years. Other things like my daily dose of dysregulation, I think that began in the wintertime. I remember it being cold as hell and talking to you guys about that, like, why did I take this on now? And then I was like, if I would have took it on now in the summer, I'd have been like, oh, it's so cold. But it's not. I can't even get my water cold enough. It like goes to like a drizzle, and I'm like, come on, hit me with colder water. I need more. I need more. It just isn't even getting cold enough because it's so flicking hot outside. But I say all that to say, I'm really creating and cultivating this new life of mine on my own terms. Like I said, I went for a walk yesterday and I took a different path, and it was really reminiscent of the days that I used to walk with my son. And it reminded me that was something I really miss in my life. And had I not had this break in my life, or this time that I was dedicating to be in silence, where there's no phone, there's no distraction, there's no way of getting a hold of me if something goes down, like, sorry guys, you're gonna have to figure it out, I'll be home in 10, 20, 30 minutes. But having this place where I can just be alone with my thoughts out in nature has been so revealing of things that I do want to do. And so this mindfulness practice, it can, like, I always imagine like some Buddhist monk, or I imagine, some perfect yogi, or I picture this, but like, for me, mindfulness is connecting my body and my mind and realizing that my superpower comes from within. It is not on, like, it's always on high alert. Like, there's so much information, there's so much stimulation coming in from sounds, smells, sights, texts, emails, the to-do list, as long as a Santa's good list or naughty list or whatever it is. Like, there's so much competing for my attention, just as it is with you, right? Like, I bet you have so many things. You've got your work, you've got your spouse, you've got your partner, you got your friends, you've got all kinds of family, all different things demanding your attention. And so again, having a practice, and I call it a practice because, like I said, last week I went through some of my tools and I'm like, this isn't working. Like, why isn't it working? Am I doing it right? And then realizing, like, hey, we're not going to sit here and judge why it's not working. We're just going to go on to the next one. It's okay. And it did give some relief. It just didn't give all the relief you wanted. And just because you're being mindful, it doesn't mean it's going to completely go away. It just means that you're able to better be in a calm state, in a confident state, in a courageous state, even in the midst of chaos. And so this morning was a great example of like a win. So I was sitting there, I was doing my class from the corner of the eye. My daughter tells me at 1 a.m., hey mom. So she has a car, but unfortunately she hasn't driven the car. So now we can't tell if the car has, like, we've replaced the battery a couple times. It just keeps having problems. It's not the battery. We don't know what it is, but it'll start. We don't know if there's some kind of, safety thing in there. I don't know what the deal is, but the car doesn't consistently start. So she tells me, hey, the back window is open. And I don't even walk past that car because it's like across the street in months. I look out at it like, I need to get this taken care of. I need to get this taken care of. It's on the to-do list and it's staring at me in the face out the window. And I just am like, yeah. Get on the list. There's a lot of people and things ahead of you. And sorry, you're just not there yet. So she's like, I don't even know how long. There's like pollen in the back of the car. I'm like, what the heck? So I send Chris a message. I didn't get a response back, but I look out the window and I see him going in the car. And I'm in my class and I start panicking because I'm like, oh gosh, this is a problem, right? Is it, first I'm looking, is he going to go? Like, did he get the message? Is he going to go? He goes, like, have like a little bit of relief, but now it's like, okay, well, is it a quick fix? Is he in, the window's up, and then he goes about his day? No, he's not. He's in there. He's tinkering around and I'm starting to get panicked. I'm starting to get nervous. Oh no, something is needed of me. I'm going to have to call, maybe get AAA, do these things. Like, I'm going to have some kind of, bad news, some kind of this. The same time, I get a notification of what is in our mailbox, and I'm getting a letter, and it's a scary letter, and I can kind of read through the paperwork of the picture that is in there, and it was something that made me very nervous. And I started feeling myself like all these external things, even though I had already done my mindful morning. I was in a great place. I was I was getting all my stuff done. I was negotiating with myself because I had to leave early in the morning to go take Tyler to see his surgeon, which I'll give you an update on. But I was already like, here was my time. It was like planned out. Here is what I was going to do. It was like compromise. Do I do my class? Or do I go for the walk and record? I ended up saying, let me do my class. I didn't want to feel rushed. I was like in a mindful place and I was really calm. And so I didn't really have like an exuberant amount of things to talk about or energy. I was just chilling in the morning. And so I decided to do my thing, but then I'm now pushing pause. I'm kind of distracted. And right there and then I was like, okay, having this self-awareness now that I'm practicing it, like before that was just my natural state, but now it was like, oh, wait a second, hold on, Natasha, something's like going on, like what's happening here? So to be able to have the awareness, which I think a lot of people that I interact with in my daily life lack a lot of self-awareness. Like I was saying, I had a conversation with my dad, and in every conversation they want to sit here and blame me for things. Like, don't blame me for you not cultivating a relationship with our uncle. Like, I would have loved the help. He would have loved the help. He would have loved the relationship. And you might have benefited out of it or something, if that's what you're worrying about, if that's what your main concern is. And instead, they want to blame me and be like, oh, she has everything. She gets everything, like all this stuff. And it's so false. It's so ridiculously false. It just is infuriating. So I, again, am like having this self-awareness that like this situation triggers me. And so when it comes up, I need to go through some of my tools and say, just for myself, let them, they're going to do what they're going to do. It's out of your control. If they want to live in that state, if they want to believe that, but having this self-awareness of myself, I think is also a tool. It is an asset. It is a power, because it isn't always pretty what you see, right? Like I said, I never had a trouble. One of my kids had asked me, Mom, did anybody ever call you a fat bee? And I was like, yes. And they were like, oh, I heard that's like the worst thing you can call a woman is a B word. I'm like, quite honestly, didn't offend me because I was both things. Like, I had that awareness. So yeah, it might have stung for a second, but I was like, I kind of am. Like, how am I going to be offended by something somebody is saying if I know it's damn true? Like, they're calling it like they see it, like, it's like somebody calling me a female. I am a female. I identify as a female. Okay, it's not going to offend me because I am that. Like, there's no offense there. Like, I am solid in that. So, yeah, I was being that way. And that maybe that garnered a thing. I'm not saying I was, I deserve to be called a name or any of that. I'm not saying that, but it was like, hey, you know what? I kind of was like, that's just what it was. So that kind of stuff doesn't offend me if it's the truth, right? Like yeah, kind of, yeah. I could see I could see valid on both points, but it doesn't mean it's nice, right? I can still be offended or, like hurt or whatever by the statement, but it was true. So anyways, I say all that to say, having that self-awareness, and now it has grown to where I have the self-awareness to where I've been mindful. I've been having moments where it's quiet and safe, and I can hear my body when it's in a calm state, and I can get my body into a calm state, which, by the way, hello, I was always so stressed out. I didn't even feel comfortable in the calm. I'm like, wait a minute. Like I was saying, like, when's the next act's going to drop? Like, what's happening? So now being comfortable in the calm and actually like loving the peace and the calmness, like, hey, I will take this. When I start to feel that dysregulation, when I start to feel triggered, when I start to feel on edge like I was this morning, and I'm looking and I'm anticipating and what's needed of me next, what's going on, I realized it, and I was able to say, hold on a second. Here we are. Let me push pause on my class. Let me do this. Let me go through some of my tools. Let me use some of the skills I've acquired and settle back down, because we can't control what's happening around us, right? I can say, Chris, stop looking at the car, mail don't come, like all these things. I can't control that, but I could control how I was going to respond and how it affected me for the rest of the day. And let me tell you, the version of me 2 years ago would have been on edge all day, waiting for that letter to arrive that didn't come until almost 5 p.m. Waiting to see, what was going to happen with Chris. Like, I would have been a whole different thing. But now I'm like, just let it. Like, there's nothing I can do to control it. The letter will get here. When it gets here, the car will get its window closed, or it won't, but I will go and get the garage door opener, which anybody could have been just, come on in, the garage door opener's in here, living here, could be animals in there. I don't even know. There was a whole life you could have lived in there. But I say all that to say, so it's really nice to be able to have this skill practicing a tool to calm in the face of a storm. And now I've been in many storms and I've navigated them, but I haven't always been calm, or at least I presented myself as calm, and inside, let me tell you, was a tornado, a brewing in there. So I feel so much more centered and grounded and productive, knowing that I can navigate this new life that I'm creating. I'm cultivating it. Like, I am growing this. I am with the sole purpose of making myself proud. It's not looking to make my dad proud. It's not looking to make my mom proud. It's not looking to make my kids proud. It's not even to make you proud. It is the life to make me proud. And I think for so long too, that was another thing. I'm looking at my dad to hear, like something about making me proud. Like, are you proud of me? All this stuff. And again, I think it was something I was lacking. I wasn't proud of me. I wasn't doing things that I was proud of. And I was great. I'm proud of me being a mom. I'm proud of me being able to learn how to advocate for people. I'm proud of me for being resourceful. Yes, there are certain things that I'm like, hey, I kick butt at that. Like, I did that. I'm proud of my health journey. I'm proud of a lot of things. Although recently I've felt really kind of conflicted, because this last month, I don't know what it is. I've had such crappy eating patterns, and not patterns, but just habits. Like what I'm eating is crap, and I'm kind of feeling like crap because I'm eating like crap. And I just feel very bloated and big, and I'm feeling a little bit like a balloon that's about to pop. Like, I'm not feeling comfortable in my skin. and I just don't know what it is. And so I'm sure I'll figure it out at some point. But yeah, it's just a little bit, I feel physically a little bit off. Like I don't feel as strong. I don't feel necessarily as motivated to do certain things. Once I get going, I'm fine. It's just sometimes in the getting going. So I'm hoping that like it's me getting back in my routine, because it was like routine, and then I had breaks for trips, and then got back in the routine, and then my instructor went on a break, and I was trying to take on some new classes that were super challenging for me, which were great too. But like, I don't know, I just feel like I'm really trying to get this balance of life and trying to figure it out. And I'm a little bit on the struggle bus right now with my fitness goals and like where I'm at physically. Like I am so bloated right now. Like I feel like which again, I have to remind myself and pull out my old picture, because I put her away, that old version of me where I am at my peak largest, and I need to be like, girl, like you looking good. Like don't even trip. You got a lot of pastries in you before we get back to that, and we're nowhere near that. So again, I'm just not feeling 1,000% comfortable in my skin, because I don't like the way I literally feel. It's not even about the look. It's about the like, I feel like I'm popping out of even the elastic. So, yeah, that's a personal kind of little thing that's happening for me. But I'm proud of myself for all I've done to get there. I'm proud of myself for interviewing for different jobs. I'm proud of myself for all that. And I think I hear a lot, I'm an observant person. So when I talk to my dad and I hear him talk about his other kids, I'd be a fool to not think he doesn't talk about me, like I'd be a fool to think that, I'm any different than that. And I think it's like that, it's a little shocking, because I never really saw that side. I just was never like thought about it. I didn't want to think about any of the potential negative things that could be happening. Life was good. Everything's fine. Everything's great, everybody. And so if I didn't think about those things, it didn't hurt me. And so becoming more self-aware, I'm more aware of a lot of things. I'm aware of being able to see relationships for what they really are, and what I can bring to the table, what I have brought to the table, and what these other relationships bring to the table for me as well. And, it's really challenging. And so today, as far as relationships goes, I just have to say I'm so grateful. So today, as I promised to tell you, my son had his appointment, like his post-op appointment, another one with his surgeon, and drum roll please, he is officially cleared for some jogging and starting to ramp up. And he has good symmetry for right now. He's built up his quad, and he's gonna get back there. The way he's gonna get there is through exercise and getting back on his team and doing what he loves. So he's cleared to do that. In a slow ramp up, it's like 50 to 60%. So getting going is just, I'm really happy for him, and seeing him come through this other side of the journey. We're not there yet. He has another month of like slowly progressing up, because I am really cautious, because I've been through it all. Like I don't want any other injuries, no more setbacks. But then again, like I can't help but like feel this like guilt, like, okay, so what, another month, like my son has a teammate who, he's still in a hospital, and his joy was, I was so excited. Actually, I have to share this, because I was wanting to like email or text her and say, please, as soon as he can get in a wheelchair, get outside on the balcony, get out there, get the sun. Like if nobody offers it to you, ask for it, because it was so healing. And I know like for like my son Dylan, when he got to sit outside in just the sun, you could just see it permeate through his skin and us. And just like for that minute, even though you're in a hospital on a balcony, you just kind of feel normal. You're free of all the machines, you're free of the sounds, you're free of the circulated air, and you just feel normal. Even though this is a new, not so wanted normal, it's okay. And again, having this perspective of slowing down and appreciating the little things. Like they got to complete a crossword puzzle yesterday. And I get that because one of my sons and I, we've done many crossword puzzles. My other son and I do Sudoku. So like, again, and a lot of these things happen in the face of injury when the life that we had slowed down. And I would say out of the pandemic, that was one thing I really, really appreciated was everything slowed down, which for me, the slowdown provided this space and this time for me to begin this fitness journey, for me to begin this health journey. Yes, sometimes the motivation was because my house was crazy and loud and I just needed to get out. But other times it was really because I also knew I was in a high risk category, and being morbidly obese and getting COVID was a real concern. And even if I was able to survive it, if I got it and then passed it on to my son who, you know, had heart defects, I didn't want that pressure on me. So, that ability to have that slowdown, that, you know, we played a lot of board games, you know, we had a lot of family dinners where it wasn't like, oh, this kid's at practice, oh, wait, we can't all do this, you know. It was, especially when they were younger, it was like one had a practice at 3, one had a practice at 5, one had a practice at 8, one had a practice at 7, you know, like it was all over the map, all over the city, all over the time. So it was hard to get us all at the same time having dinner. So tonight was one of those nights where we all got to have dinner tonight. I was so grateful. My daughter and her boyfriend cooked dinner and it was a lovely meal. We all got to sit around, go around their table, say what our bests were, and just have a normal conversation. So getting that slowdown, that decompression is super important. And I just have to also shout out how much support really means. Like, and just watching support from afar is so important. Like how many people are praying for our friend. It just warms my heart, you know, how like my kids are taking on these new endeavors and seeing how each one of them pops in and supports them, even though the content isn't something that they understand, like, or, you know, even, you know, out of all the things that they can do, they do take a few minutes. It doesn't have to be the full time to come in and support. And it just means the world to me. It reminds me, and I happened to see it today, of the green rubber bracelet that Dylan has and we all wore and people throughout the community wore, and it says Russo Strong. And, you know, it was the symbolism of unity. It was this, you know, circular thing that we were all in this together and wearing it, and we are supporting you, we are thinking of you. And that's how I feel for this young man that's currently still in the hospital. But he is making mad progress. They're turning down the ventilator. He was in a wheelchair long enough to get outside. Like, that is huge. It is huge. Something we so take for granted in our day-to-day life, and to have to relearn what we kind of know naturally is so different. Like even my sons with their injury, to have to relearn how to jog in the proper way, to have to relearn how to lift your leg. I'm in PT currently myself, and just having to relearn like how to engage my lower core abs because I don't use them and I don't even know if I ever have. I'm like, wait a second, like what? Like I don't feel anything. Like when we do certain things, I'm like, I for sure am cheating because I don't feel this thing at all. Like not in PT, but like in my bar class, I'm like, this is all legs for me, and I've got strong legs, so I'm like, okay, let's go with this. But doing my PT like slows down things, like to remember to engage the core but also breathe, and all these things like that we kind of get caught up in our own, you know, default system, and now we're rewiring the brain to say, oh, here's another way, and to remind myself. So like when I'm driving, I'm back to like being like, okay, engage. Probably sitting here, I should be like reminding myself, okay, engage that core. You know, maybe it'll help with the bloating feeling here. But I say all that to say, like, it is nice. And so it is nice to have that walk yesterday and have the realization that, hey, I really miss walking with my son. And then today to take action on it. It's not about being like, oh, I'm a crap mom. I didn't want to walk in the cold and I missed my chance. And oh gosh, why don't I take the walks, and sitting here and like having some like negative fest on yourself. No, it's like realizing and being like, hey, I really miss this. and then take action. Do something about it, right? Like, I'm feeling bloated, so I'm not gonna be like, oh my gosh, you ate a whole pint of ice cream yesterday. True story. But you ate a whole pint of ice cream. That is why you feel bloated. No, it's not about that. It's about, okay, like, take action. If you don't like feeling bloated, maybe there's something in your diet we could shift and adjust. Maybe cut back on the dairy or the sweets or the whatever, or, add more of this instead of cutting back. Like, let's add more of this. Like, having a place where you can figure it out. Take some kind of action. Sitting here talking negatively about it and complaining about it is not going to move the needle forward, right? That's the whole goal, is in creating this life I'm proud of. It doesn't look like me sitting around complaining about the things I like. It isn't about that. So when I recognize that there's something I don't like, it's to say, hey, this is important to me. I hear that. What can I do next to take action on it? There is no guarantee it's going to change. I can go to my son and he can say, I'm busy. I don't want to walk with you. He's physically not here. I mean, there's so many scenarios, but just having that silence to know that this was something I was missing inside in my life. And so we went on a walk and I was like, hey, just even like a 10-minute walk. And he was like, he just got in it and was like, I'm ready to walk more. And we ended up doing like a 30-minute walk together and just chatting. And I was like, see, I really missed this. And I think he did too, just having this safe space to kind of work out what's kind of going on the inside. And so again, had it not been for my solitary walk and my own self, I wouldn't have had that recognition, and then I wouldn't have taken that action. And so taking action, a small action, is so important in creating that. But you have to first have the awareness, right? So it's like you got to work from the inside out. And you have to have peace and calm and that mindfulness in there, and that ability to reach into your superpower, where you're not just a reactionary being based on all the stimuli going around us, where really we are navigating the world, not from the outside in, but from the inside out, and from a place that your integrity shows through, your values show through, your desires and your dreams. That's what it's about. It's about that. It's not just, like just sitting around and humming along. No, it's about being able to calm yourself within the storm so that you are the best version of yourself, and so that you can figure out and see, what is it I want in my life? I want more time with my kids while I can. I want more opportunities to spend time with them. They mean a lot to me. And I want them to know that, as much as the things that I'm passionate about, my recording and my classes and my dance classes, all these things I'm passionate about, I don't want to miss them because I am so focused on moving the needle forward for me. Those relationships mean a lot to me. After me, they're the next most important thing. And I know that's so weird for me to personally say, because before they were the number one. And so I also had this chance today to hang out with my oldest son. His girlfriend had forgot her ID. And so we went to the post office and I went and got her, priority mailed it to her, but we were goofing around. I'm like, what's in my car here? Let's just send her some goofy stuff. So we sent her these big pink Elton John blinged out glasses that were in there. And he's like, you don't want them? I'm like, no, I do not want them. And I don't even know why they're in there. So we sent that, and then put 50. I'm sorry, environmentalist, but you know what? We got the kick out of it. We put 50 different envelopes and different sizes and stuff because, it just was goofy. So I'm excited for her to get it. She's not going to get it for a little while because she leaves to Costa Rica tomorrow, but congrats to her. She got this leadership position at her job today. That she's going to in New York or whatever, but she was found out today. So congrats to you. Mwah. That's so awesome. I'm super proud of you because, that's a little bit of a pay raise, and excited for her. So yeah, so I have to say, really, really hone in to the mindfulness and use it as a tool to calm you in the storm. Use it as a tool to help guide you on this path that you are creating, this life that you are proud of, because it's really going to help you. It is huge. And I didn't really understand it until I had a moment like today where I was feeling the stress from what Chris was doing. I was feeling the stress from the letter that was coming. And it was even though I was already centered and good, these two external things at the same time, again, like a perfect storm came, and I was like, oh my gosh, I was completely rattled. And having that time to be understanding of my body now, of how it's feeling, and being like, uh-oh, red alert, I'm feeling triggered, I'm feeling nervous, I'm feeling anxious, and having the ability to be like, okay, we're here, we're going to go through these tools and see which ones work and find one that works. And then I'm like, I'm cool. And I didn't feel all stressed out heading to my son's appointment. I could really just chat with him and enjoy the time. So I say all that to say, this day's been a great day. I am so proud of it. I'm telling you, the mindfulness, I know it seems like a bunch of like hippy dippy, whatever, kind of stuff. And I didn't get it until I got it. And I'm getting it now, and I'm no beans a master mindfulness person, but I'm practicing it, and I'm getting these real life feedbacks of why it is so important and why it's worth me waking up an extra 30, 40, 50 minutes, if it may be, so that I can continue to integrate these tools into my daily life, because I am seeing the results, and I see how I feel, and I see how more clear and focused I am when I'm able to do my work. I'm so much more productive when I'm not ruled by all the distractions around me, where I can navigate and be like, okay, there's these distractions, there are these things happening around, but I don't have to respond, and I don't have to respond right now. Whereas before it was like, somebody texts, I need to respond. Somebody did this, I need to respond. Chris sends me a letter, I need to respond. Like, I don't need to respond. I don't need to react to what somebody else is doing or something else does. I can choose when, where, and if I respond. So again, life is not about what is happening to us. It is about how we respond. And in order to respond in a way that aligns with our personal integrity, our personal goals and dreams and aspirations, we really need the mindfulness practice to get us to that place. So I say all this to say thank you so much for tuning in today. I'm so proud of you. I adore you. Please take a few moments today to cultivate the mindfulness routine in your own life. So, and if you can do me one more favor, please go out there today, give somebody a big smile, give them a compliment, and just watch how they glow up. So thank you so much. Bye.